Hello everybody, welcome back to our YouTube channel. This feels a little bit weird to be filming. We did take a bit of a hiatus from posting after we finished our Ditching the Split series, and you guys have seen all of the front of our house, but I honestly think the backyard is the main attraction. So we are going to ease back into our content with a backyard tour today. I'm hoping that you guys can draw some inspiration from our backyard to your own home. If you're a longtime follower, I know you're probably familiar with our backyard, but a lot of you are new here, and so I think you'll enjoy seeing everything that we've done to our backyard. When we moved here, it was a blank slate. It was just grass and a couple plants. Bring him down, show everybody what is he doing. What are you doing? Are you excited to be filming again? So when we moved here, our backyard was really a blank slate. It was just all grass. There was no fencing. There was a couple little bushes and then this tree here, but we started from scratch and put all the gardens in ourselves, decorations, the vegetable garden, all of the planting. We did all of that ourselves. So for the sake of this tour, we are going to focus on this side of the yard. I don't want you guys to see what's going on the other side of the yard yet because you'll hear about that soon. I think we're gonna start with the gardens, then we'll go to the treehouse, then we'll go to the pool. There's a lot to see, so I hope you enjoy a long video. Anything you want to say, babe? Do you want to get in front of the camera at all?
So and that.
I wonder if it'll be better if I hold the mic for this.
Probably.
You think? Okay, we'll do it like it's a tiny little microphone. Because it is. First stop on our garden tour today is going to be what I call our little bird area. I love being a bird mom, and we have our frequent flyers and our regulars that attend our buffet every day, as well as the spa. It is out of birdseed again. We do have a raccoon that comes every night and feasts here, so I have to get more birdseed. But this whole area is kind of done up with the intention of the birds. Fun fact, I actually filmed a backyard tour last year during the Ditching the Split series, and this is going to be a backyard tour. It is not an episode of Ditching the Split. I didn't end up posting that video. I just didn't really like how it looked, and then we got busy, and obviously last summer with all the work we were doing at the front of the house, it just feels like we skipped a year for being able to enjoy the backyard. A lot has grown and changed since you guys have seen it last. Roses, flagstone we grabbed from elsewhere on the property. We really tried to do as much of the gardening and landscaping back here as cheaply as possible because it's expensive and we have a really big yard. So flagstone was all reused. Even plants we were able to pull from our front yard when we started the renovation, or we brought them with us from our last home, or we were able to work with Landscape Direct. A lot of these plants were from Landscape Direct. This iris was the iris that was in our front yard. A lot of people gave us a very hard time when we started that series about, ow. A lot of people gave us a very hard time when we started the series about the plants in the front yard and thinking that we were not going to salvage them. But all of them got rehomed, including the iris. Hostas we were able to split up from elsewhere in the yard, and then pretty much everything else in this garden. Well, it's mostly hostas, so. Here's another view of our little bird area, our bird hotel. We do have one of the camera bird feeders. You guys are always asking if we have one for some reason. I guess because we probably seem like the kind of people that would. And we do. We haven't mounted it to the tree, but it is really funny to see the raccoon come every night and go crazy for the birdseed that's in it. Let me show you something else. This is one of my favorite views ever of the yard. I love the way that it looks with my Barbie garden. This is my pink garden. You can't really tell yet because the hydrangeas haven't bloomed, but everything in here fills in with pink flowers or shades of pink. So I call it my Barbie garden. I also planted it when the Barbie movie was poppin'. So I think it was followers that actually named it the Barbie garden. Anyway, this view is my favorite view of the yard. and the way that you can see the vegetable garden and then the fire pit and then another garden back there. I'm going to take you guys through it and I'll show you everything. But starting with the Barbie garden while we're here, we have strawberry vanilla hydrangeas, which people ask about all the time. When these things are in bloom, they are spectacular. They look so beautiful. It is a little packed in this garden, but like packing a garden doesn't really concern us very much because we always end up moving stuff around anyways and like separating the plants that we can. So I don't know, we just like make it work. When things get too big, you move them. That's what Andrew said. Lavender, bee balm, coneflowers, the blue spruce. Everybody loves to like, you know, comment about the blue spruce. It has grown so much since we put it in, and obviously it's going to get taken over. Like the plants around it are already taken over. Daisies, etc., etc. So we probably will have to move the blue spruce. Also, I know that the pine doesn't do great things for your garden. This isn't garden answer. This is garden question. We just adjust it as needed. I think that's like the fun part is you don't have to get it right the first time. You can kind of change your garden around, and if something doesn't survive or it's struggling, just move it, just change it. We've got daisies, we've got lilacs, we transplanted these from elsewhere, and then hydrangeas that we just planted this week. So they're kind of struggling a little bit, but they'll bounce back. Same with the 9-bark, which is not looking so good either. This is also a beautiful dark purple lilac bush that Andrew cut down when we moved here. And it has just like grown back full force and it looks incredible. I just wish that they stayed for longer. And then this historically has been my sunflower fence, but I decided to not grow the sunflowers there, well, last year and this year, because the weeds grow really bad in this particular area. Where we're standing right now is our leaching field for our septic system. So as Andrew loves to tell me, we can't plant things that have deep roots. We can't do anything on our leaching field. So the grass grows like crazy here and the weeds grow like crazy here. And that was kind of happening here with my sunflowers. The first year it was really good. By the second year, they were getting basically choked out. And then I just stopped doing it altogether. Also, we started having an issue with like rabbits and deer finding our yard, which was something that we didn't really deal with when we first moved here because it was just grass. There was nothing for them to really feast on. And now because we have gardens, we get a lot of wildlife activity. So anyways, I just didn't do that. Instead, we did planters for this year. We'll try it out and see how it works. But I wanted to do it because next door they have 2 dogs that love to visit with our 2 dogs. And so this is where they do the visiting. So I thought it would be better so that the dogs don't trample whatever I put in the ground when they visit their friends. I don't want to say it too loud because their windows are open, but I don't think they watch our videos. We've got a lot of native things growing in this area. This is some asters and willow and daisies. Black-eyed Susans are taking over. I want this whole area to fill in with so much color that you don't see how many weeds actually grow in here. It looks really good right now because we did just mulch, but typically like the weeds are just crazy. Here's more of the iris that we moved. We actually took it from our front yard when we first moved in, and I remember I'd never seen iris before when we moved here, or maybe I had and I just like didn't know what I was looking at. But I remember thinking that it looked like popcorn and wanting to like be able to see it from every window. Like I just loved looking at it so much. So we were able to separate that batch from the front yard, move some to the backyard, replant a ton in the front yard, and now it's ready to be separated again because iris just like keeps expanding. It keeps growing babies. We did put in some flagstone stepping stones to kind of create like a little pathway back here. It's just kind of also been covered up. We have false sunflowers, which is a native flower growing back here. And Andrew specifically wanted me to show you this peony. Get a good look at that. This peony is from our old house, as is the ones at the front, which I'll show you shortly. Our old house, I've told this story a million times, and if you're a longtime follower, you already know, but our old house had a beautiful backyard with a garden that was overgrown because the owner of the house passed away, and he lived alone, so in old age, he just couldn't care for the garden. So anyways, right before we moved out, we dug up the peonies because we didn't even realize they were there. The garden was so overgrown, they had never bloomed. brought them here so that we could enjoy them. And this is actually is this the first year that they're blooming?
Yeah, in 5 years it's been here.
In 5 years that it's been here, this one has never bloomed. So this is the first time that we even get to see what color the peony is. Same with our 2 rows of Sharons. Our beautiful rows of Sharons also came from our last home. They had rows of Sharons on either side of the yard, and we loved them. So we dug them up and brought them here. They were much smaller when we first planted them, so it's nice to see them growing and like enjoying the area. Our last home that we moved out of in 2020, we didn't take really an interest in gardening. Like, we were kind of interested in it, but we didn't know anything about it until right before we moved out. We packed up a bunch of plants from that house so that we would be able to enjoy them here. And there was no shortage of plants there anyway for the next people who bought it, but then it became a rental, so nobody even cared about the garden anyway. But that's okay. Let's keep going this way. Daisies, more black-eyed Susans. Again, I want this area to fill in like a beautiful, chaotic garden. These bushes, this birdhouse, and this pole that it's attached to came with the house. And the bushes have gotten so much bigger. The birds use that birdhouse every single year. So we ended up getting a certified wildlife habitat sign for this area. This really doesn't mean anything. It's basically just bragging rights to say that you have it. And I did pay extra to get it on a plaque. You could get it as a piece of paper, but I wanted like the actual sign for the garden. And it was a follower who suggested getting it certified as a wildlife habitat. You can go online, you just have to like fill out the questionnaire and you could get one too, but it does feel like a bit of a flex to have that in the garden. These are the peonies I was just telling you about. These ones also came from the old house. And again, they were just like teeny tiny. They never saw the sun. Like this one just started blooming. But they're so beautiful. Again, I wish that these lasted longer too, because they're just so gorgeous. This area gets a lot of the bees and the butterflies. We also get a lot of volunteer sunflowers popping up in here. So it stays pretty active all summer long. And then it looks beautiful in the fall too, because the sedum turns red and everything starts to like, well, just the sedum turns red. Everything else pretty much dies. I hope you guys are enjoying our backyard tour. It feels good to be filming again. We actually had to dust off our filming equipment to do this video because we took almost a month off from filming. We took a little trip across Canada. So it's a perfect opportunity to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, which is
Away.
Oh, I had it backwards. Away. Away is luggage that is designed by travelers for travelers. Every suitcase goes through rigorous testing for durability and longevity. On our across Canada trip, we traveled as light as possible, so we brought only our carry-ons, which was super easy and convenient because of the amount of storage that fits inside of Away carry-on luggage. The smart interior compression system and the handy interior pockets made packing everything a breeze. We were even able to fit in coats and extra footwear for all of the hiking we did.
Here I have the bigger carry-on in navy blue, which is the hard-sided one, which makes it super easy to clean and store away.
Andrew also has the everywhere bag, which is made of water-resistant nylon. It would be a great personal bag. We didn't bring it on this trip because we were trying to travel as light as possible, but unzip it, show them how much room's inside.
If you have stuff, this is for you.
And of course I traveled with the soft-sided bigger carry-on in the color clay pink. It's super cute, but it's also very lightweight, which made lifting it into the stowaway compartment on the airplane super easy. And if you're looking for a personal item that can fit a 16-inch laptop, I recommend the Featherlight crossbody bag. This is in the color Amaro Brown. There's lots of other colors on the website. I highly recommend you check out Away. And you can actually get 10% off your first order of Away by clicking the link in the description or scanning the QR code on the screen. Now back to the backyard tour. Leading into this area is the start of our vegetable garden. We expanded this area last year, moved a bunch of plants from elsewhere, and the daisies and the hostas and everything like that. Basically anything that was being covered in the other garden, because as all the plants kind of grow, it ends up shading other plants. So we kind of moved everything around. There's a lot happening out here right now. Like the squirrels are fighting. Anyway, this whole area has filled in beautifully this year. It's really nice to see everything. It's really nice to see everything. I'll take a second before I forget to tell you about my solar lights. I'll link them in the description, but they're just an Amazon find. This one's kind of leaning, but they are glass and aluminum. They're really nice. I've bought solar lights a bunch of times for this backyard. It feels like they like last a year and then they die. But I just got those, so I can't be a testament to how long they last, but they do look really beautiful, and it's a nice warm white. Moving over to my pride and joy, this is my climbing rose arbor. I love how this looks in this particular time of year. It blooms twice. It blooms in the beginning of June, and then it'll bloom again in like the end of August. It is called, hold on. Shoot. I forget the name of the variety. It's a climbing rose variety that doesn't have sharp thorns on it, so it works perfectly for an arbor, and it does smell amazing. We got them in 2021 from Home Depot when they were like little tiny shrubs. Planted them in one on either side, and the way that they grow every year and expand is so beautiful. You can see it from the front, but wait till you see it from the back. You know that song? Anyways, if you see it from the front, it looks beautiful, but from the back, it's even better. Last year was the first year that it was like really a showstopper. So it was 3 years old by then, or 4 years old. Except between you and me, this rose has me a little worried. It looks a little ill. I have roses at the bottom, but it's very scraggly and like not a lot of foliage up top. So I am a bit worried about it. We'll see what it does this year, but it's not looking good. Okay. Come into my vegetable garden. My handy husband built me this vegetable garden. It was one of the first things that we added to the backyard. I'd always wanted a vegetable garden. I was a gardening girly as a kid. I loved flowers and the prospects of having a vegetable garden. So this is what he built me. As the sign says, Sabrina's garden, that's me. Andrew got that made for me as a birthday gift a couple years ago. Everything is looking a little small in here right now. I didn't end up planting everything until a little bit later in the season. Like it was May 2-4 weekend before I put anything even in the ground. And I started everything from seed. So now, truthfully, we were gonna replace these garden beds this year. If you guys want the plans for this garden, it is on our website. But we were gonna replace the garden beds. They're just made out of an untreated pine. And we knew that they would rot eventually. And they are. But that was our budget. This was in 2021. We couldn't afford to like do anything like too fancy or too something that was gonna really last long term. Andrew says the thing is he knew they would last 3 to 5 years, and we might change our mind with the layout and have to rebuild them anyways. So that was okay with us. We were actually gonna replace them this year because a lot of them are rotting out, and the soil inside is the soil from now 2 years ago. So because you're like planting, like it's good to move your crops around, but we have like tomatoes seedlings popping up everywhere because now I've done tomatoes in pretty much every bed. Potatoes I didn't harvest in the other beds, and so I didn't really want to like grow other stuff on top of that. So what I did was I did a lot of sunflowers because I hear they neutralize the soil. I don't know. This isn't Garden Answer. We are Garden could be, maybe. I don't really know. I have my grandpa's garden sign. My grandpa was a big gardener as well. He had a big vegetable garden. So he's passed away now, but he keeps an eye on my garden. And our beautiful cedars. These are all from Landscape Direct in 2022. We planted them a smidge close together, which everybody loved to remind us. And people were actually really mean when we first planted these, saying that they're all gonna die and it was a waste of time and everything that we did wrong. But these cedars grew to be incredible. They are close together, but they filled in as a hedge, and that's the way we wanted it. And then you just have to maintain it. So Andrew can shear them back when they get to be too big. They have grown over a foot, and I actually really do wish that we planted these all the way down the fence, but we didn't. So anyways, back to what we have growing in here. A bunch of cucumbers. I didn't do it last year because of ditching the split, but I do enjoy making pickles. I've got cucumbers growing in order to make pickles, lots of zinnias, carrots, beans, sunflowers, because this was another like throwaway bed, arugula, tomatoes, basil that's wilted, more sunflowers behind you. These are a bunch of varieties that I plan to cut. But again, as you can see, I had left potatoes in there far too long, so I didn't really want to plant something else on top of these rotting potatoes, so sunflowers were the best option. Here's another view of my climbing roses. Again, this side looks incredible. It fills in more every single day, and I'll probably be able to share a video on it in maybe 2 days. It looks gorgeous, especially when they start dropping their petals, because the ground all around here just becomes pink. This side is not looking so good. I'll give it a little more time and see how it does, but I am a little nervous about it. In the front of our vegetable garden, this was another area I absolutely love to look at. We took apart our cedar deck a couple years ago, and we were able to reuse the planks from it to create a cute little pathway. It needs a new coat of stain, but it still does the trick and it looks really cute. And funny enough, the dogs love running across it. I think they love the sound of their feet to be tapping across it. You guys are always asking about being dog owners and having gardens, and how do you guys manage keeping the dogs out of the gardens? And we really don't. They kind of go everywhere they want, but we have found that it is helpful if you create pathways, like a clear pathway for them to walk. They're more likely to lead through there instead of stepping on everything. We have lost quite a few plants to the dogs stepping on them or laying on them or peeing on them. But you could try putting in pathways and seeing if it works for you. This one definitely works for us. And same with the one in the other garden with the flagstone, although it's filled in a lot. We just recently, as of this week, planted up this section because it stayed pretty bare. I think I would have sunflowers and stuff growing in the past year in this area, but it stayed relatively bare. The sunflower solar light is from Costco a couple years ago. It's broken now. Even this tree has grown so much since we moved here that it casts way more shade on the area than when we initially started planting. So we have been able to swap out some stuff that we previously had growing here. I moved some coneflowers into a new full sun location. Meanwhile, this area stays shaded, so I could move in some heuchera and hostas and all that kind of stuff. Andrew says he loves this pathway. Here's another view of the side of our vegetable garden. The first year, I think I did pumpkins along here, and then I ended up doing something a little more permanent. We have blackberries and raspberries growing here. We did have blueberries, and they were swallowed up by the blackberries. Don't be like us. If you're gonna plant berries, plant them somewhere where they can spread and be, wild. They have filled in this area so much so that they're growing in between the cedars. We're plucking them out of the vegetable garden. The raspberries specifically end up everywhere, but it's such a great problem to have. Who doesn't love raspberries? This chair I don't think is staying here. I do want to do... Okay, my vision for this area is to do it as a little patio one day, because I love the way that it's kind of filled in on all angles. So I put a chair here as a temporary solution because I wanted to see what the view looked like if you sat here. And it looks really good, so I think we might do it. Andrew planted up this garden. This is his little baby. He's got some hydrangeas in here and then really tall, I think it's the Niagara Falls fountain grass. No? What is it?
I don't know.
Okay. You want to tell them about this section?
No.
Tell them.
No. What am I supposed to tell them? This is apparently my section, so it's my turn to speak. We have the 2 bobo hydrangeas here, a stilby, and then I think it's 5 grasses that get about 6 to 7 feet tall at the back along the fence, which adds some privacy. And in the fall, the tassels actually go a light pink, really powdery looking. So that's really nice. And then if you come over this way, should I tell them we cut a tree down in the front for the renovation? Yeah, okay. It's funny, not a single person noticed during ditching the split that 2 trees went missing out front during the renovation. There was 2 pine trees that were leaning towards the house, and halfway up the tree actually split. I guess it had broken years ago, and so there was 2 leaders, and it was leaning ready to split again. We didn't want to risk them falling on the house, so we had them cut down. And the guy who did it, I guess he assumed that we had kids, because he came over to me at the end and he's like, "Hey, I made you a table, stools, and cups." I'm like, "What does that mean?" So he showed me this. It's basically a play set for kids. It's got your 3 stools, your table bottom and your table top, and then these 3 little pieces that are supposed to look like cups. So it's like a play set almost, which we just put it out now because I tidied up everything. And I think it looks pretty cool here. This is another garden that I kind of did when we first moved in. I carved this all out, and we had so many hostas that I split them up and just did a border of hostas. And this is pretty much the only garden that we put in at the beginning that we haven't really changed much about. We added some ferns and lilies and small tulips and stuff like that. But other than that, the hostas have just kind of stayed where they are. And then some of the lilies I spread out in the back. And those are lilies that don't spread. They kind of just, I don't know what the name of them are, but some lilies spread and take over. These ones just stay, and they grow a little bit each year. But yeah, they're not out of control, so. And this is our pride and joy, the fire pit. Everyone seems to love this project, and we love it as well. It has been here for 4 years, and it's seen a lot of change, surprisingly. Originally, we didn't have much seating at all. We just had a couple broken Muskoka chairs that we got for free. So we decided to add this bench here, which is super great. There's no back to it, which I love, because then you can still see through it. And if you're sitting down, you can see back into the rest of the yard. And it's nice that it goes all the way around, because we honestly use it as kind of a table as well. The landscaping around it has changed like crazy. We've tried emerald cedars several times, Ackley peas all over them, and then finally there was 2 that were really starting to grow well, and then the deer apparently love emerald cedars. And you can see this one, the middle is kind of hollowed out. This side's even worse, but they completely ate 3 of them so far, so I don't think we're going to end up replacing them with another one. Hanging egg chairs with the pergola, people are a big fan of that too. We really enjoy spending time there. And if you do want to build this yourself or recreate it, our plans are for sale on our website, so you can check that out. Do you want to take over?
So let me just fix this cushion. That is the one thing, is that these cushions kind of always end up wherever they want. So yes, like Andrew was saying, this fire pit has seen some changes over the years. We did cut down a tree in the backyard in like 2022 maybe, I don't even really remember, but they do make nice side tables. So if you're looking for some side tables, you should check Facebook Marketplace. Or if you have a dead tree. This tree was dead. We cut down a dead tree in our backyard a couple years ago, and we turned it into side tables. Fire bowl insert is from Brio, and it's a smokeless fire pit. This is supposed to sit up flush with it, but we just haven't got around to like actually leveling it out properly. So it's sunken in, like this ring should be up. And we know that. So it doesn't actually look how it's supposed to look, but the smokeless fire pit is so great. We actually used it last night, and this particular design has the mount so that you can cook on your fire pit. So you can get this attachment that like comes up, and we've done nachos. You can also like cook meat or whatever else you like to barbecue over your fire with this set. And there's also a pizza oven attachment. So we have that as well, and I'll show you guys later on. You could put the pizza oven attachment on your fire pit and then cook your pizza right on the fire pit, which is really cool. All of the pavers for this project were a Facebook Marketplace find. The pea gravel, we bought it in bulk from a local landscape company and had them deliver it. I think that's what people ask about the most. The swings are from Amazon. These are solar lights. We got ours at Canadian Tire, but you can get yours like pretty much anywhere by now, sell solar lights. I remember when we found those, I felt like it was like groundbreaking to find solar lights that look like that, but now everybody sells them that looks like that, so it shouldn't be too hard. These lights are the Govee string lights, which are really, really awesome. You can do color changing features through your phone. They have an app, and they're waterproof. They've worked great. We've had them for several years. And then they are plugged into Costco string lights, which are the string lights that run the entire length of our yard. We did that because lighting at night just makes everything look better, but also because we let our dogs out in the evening and at night, and like we've said in this video, we get a lot of wildlife in the yard, so it's nice to be able to light it up, and those do really cast a lot of light, and they're a really good quality string light. Here's another angle of the fire pit from the back. Like Andrew said, we did lose a cedar. We had them balanced out on both sides, but the deer just love them so much that They weren't worth salvaging and replacing again. One of my favorite parts of the fire pit though is my feet pavers, which when I put the feet pavers in a couple of years ago, a lot of people did not like them. They thought it was really weird to have feet pavers. But I found them on Facebook Marketplace and I wanted them because my grandma had feet pavers leading into her garden, who has also since passed away. But as soon as I saw them, they reminded me of her, so I put them here. And then I also bought a set for my mom, so she has feet pavers in her yard, and now my sister also has feet pavers in her yard. So we're just a foot family. This is also another incredible view of the yard, especially at night, seeing it all lit up. You get the fire pit up close, and then you can see the vegetable garden behind that, and then the house behind that. When it's all lit up, it just looks so stunning. This is one of the newest gardens in our backyard. This was another 2023 project with Landscape Direct. So all of the plants we put in, I think most of them survived. We did lose a couple in this middle section here, and I think our lavender is kind of struggling back here. But other than that, it's really beautiful. It's very low maintenance, and there's a big bumblebee already enjoying some of the plants that we have back here. So this will fill in with some nice color. I think we went with a blue and purple color scheme for back here maybe. I tried to like group my gardens based on coloring. So I have like the pink garden, and then I think that this is blue and purple. This area, we carved it out last year to do red sunflowers in it. And we fenced it all off to keep the dogs out and to keep, I think it was just dogs was really all that I was like trying to keep out of it. I didn't want them stepping on it. And then rabbits got in and ate all the seedlings. So I didn't actually get any sunflowers out of it last year. And then it stayed empty as dirt. It pretty much filled in with weeds, grass cutting when we would cut the lawn, and we just abandoned this project until now. So yesterday we picked up a bunch of lavender plants, and I'm gonna do a lavender patch the whole way. I just didn't get enough lavender yet. I still have to like finish it on this side. The idea is that the lavender, because it's drought tolerant and deer resistant, because I don't think I'm gonna water back here very much, just knowing myself, that this will grow and it'll be a usable space, I guess, because I can harvest the lavender. I did see a couple years ago a woman on TikTok posted this video where she was saying how she grows lavender in her yard every single year, tons of lavender plants, because she harvests them, and then she was saying how she sells them or she gifts them to people. So that's kind of my plan for this area, and I'm looking forward to it. Aren't you, little girl? Do you have anything you want to say? I'm already having a weed problem back here. This big hairy weed. He pops up everywhere, doesn't he? Oh, Across the back of our yard, we have our Peak Products dig-free fence. This was the fencing I used for the pumpkin patch. I know it doesn't look that great, especially the way that we have it installed. It's like all kind of wonky, but it keeps the dogs contained. So that's the most important thing for us. The deer can jump this, obviously. Everybody who sees this fence is like, well, no duh, obviously you have a deer problem. Look at the size of your fence. But it's a temporary solution, okay? And we just keep the dogs, it's to keep the dogs safe so that we can like let them out here and we don't have to watch their every move. And plus our property backs onto the forest, so I want to make sure the dogs don't take off running, you know? I'm gonna take you guys this way to Treehouse Trail. This is more of our backyard. Our property sits on just under 2 acres, so obviously we use the bulk of it for our gardens, but there's a lot of it that, because it's so overgrown, it's hard to use the space. Also, it was a dumping ground for garbage before we moved in, so that was really fun to clean up, and we've worked very hard on getting it to be a safe and clean space. But one of the things we did back here was build a tree house. So I'm gonna take you guys back and you can check it out for yourself. We added in some steps that lead down to our tree house. It does always freak me out doing this little walk down here though, because we have so many animals. You can just hear them like running all around. It's really fun in the winter because the view is totally clear. So you can see all the deer that pass through here. What else have we had walk through here? There's coyotes back here. There's a groundhog that lives like underneath our treehouse. Anyways, this is a very beautiful, fun space, and it's nice that we get to enjoy it and use it as part of our yard because we pay for it. So I saw a video a couple years ago from a woman who was like, if I buy a house, I'm going to sit in every corner of that house because I own it. I'm going to sit and I'm going to enjoy it. And that's exactly what we do too, is you put so much money into buying a home. You better use every square inch of that home.
Every square foot in your place, you paid for, right? What are you doing just working in one corner of your house? No, be proud, walk around, you know. It's like, yeah, this is about $2. Yeah, this is about $4. Just hang out at $6. In fact, when was the last time you touched your ceiling?
Here's our treehouse. It is fastened to a tree on the other side, which you can see, with treehouse attachment bolts. In order to build it, we went through the whole treehouse building process. There's, I think it was like treehousebuilding.com or something like that, where we got all of the tools. Here, Andrew, explain it.
We did a lot of research before we started this project to make sure that what we were doing is correct and we weren't going to kill the tree or ourselves if it collapsed. So what we did is we found a website that actually engineers and builds treehouse attachment bolts and all the brackets and mechanisms that you need to do it safely. So we went with the design of a 1 tree and 2 post treehouse because there's just not enough large trees close together to be able to span the beams to the trees to make it fully suspended in the air. So we built a tri-beam against the 1 tree, which basically is just a big triangle with 2 bolts that go into the tree at the top and bottom, and that acts as a beam. Your joists sit on that and come out away from the tree. And then we have 2 posts in the front that are on small like helical piles with a beam on top of that, and then that's basically gave us our shape. And then for our deck, we just did deck blocks because it doesn't matter. Like, there's no reason why we did it. We just did deck. We built it after.
So we'll give you guys a little view inside the treehouse. Wait, where's my? I need the key. It's stuck in my pants. This treehouse is considered off-grid. There's no electricity or anything run to it. The square footage is under the amount that is required for a permit. And we own it and it's ours. And so we can do whatever we want. So going off of the fact that it's off grid, this is a solar motion sensor light. I think it's actually broken. I think I need to replace it. We keep the decor pretty minimal down here. We haven't really done or changed the treehouse that much because it just fills in with leaves anyway. The trees are always dropping leaves. Obviously this deck is filthy because of the amount of fallen leaves that have accumulated over the years. I added my cute little bell to it when we first built it. This was an Etsy find. I bought it from somebody in like Indonesia. And we did add bird decals a couple years ago as well that we bought from like a random craft sale. The treehouse stays locked at all times, so don't even think about coming to see it. Let's go inside. Welcome to our treehouse. You guys can't smell it, but it smells amazing in here. And I don't know why it always smells so good in here. We have artwork on the walls that a follower did for us. She drew Aspen and Ackley, our dogs. She also did a sketch of the treehouse. So we have that hanging in here. A lot of the decor and stuff in here was thrifted. We tried to keep it pretty inexpensive of a build. We did a pine shiplap wall in here. This giant beautiful window was a Facebook Marketplace find. I think it was like $250 for this gorgeous window. This window was another Facebook Marketplace find for $50. And the window on the very front of the treehouse, which Andrew will show you right now, was actually our old bedroom window. So when we put in our sliding door in our bedroom, we use this window for the treehouse. So a lot of it is repurposed material. Even the tree branch chandelier is a literal tree branch. I picked out a tree branch from the forest back here, spray painted it, and then added crystal details from Amazon, and then battery operated twinkle lights that can be used to turn on and off through a remote. The one side has broken, so I haven't replaced the twinkle lights on the one side. But these twinkle lights are connected all throughout the treehouse, so you can't see because it's daylight. All of the lighting in here is controlled through the remote, and because we don't have electricity, the sconces above the bed are actually the light bulbs that are considered emergency light bulbs. So you can use them as a flashlight or as a light bulb, and you just charge them by using them in an actual lamp that plugs in for electricity. You can charge your bulbs that way. Even like the built-in around here is very, very basic. It's just plywood, even with unfinished edges. It's nothing fancy. But we do keep board games in this top section. And we have a loft on the top that has another mattress. So technically it could sleep like 3. Like you could put 2 people in this bed, 1 up top. Andrew and I used to do treehouse night every Tuesday night. And then we got a little busy with ditching the split, so we haven't done our treehouse nights in a while, but I'm hoping that we get to start doing them again because they are really fun and special.
We do one soon.
We do one soon. If you guys are interested in seeing more of this project, we didn't ever make plans for it, but I do have a whole video that documents the entire build process. I forget how long it took because we did it over the span of a winter. However, if you're interested in seeing that video, it's really an interesting, fun one to watch. Also, because we're attached to a tree, the treehouse does rock and shift. You can hear the treehouse moving, and it blows in the wind. On a really windy day, you can actually feel like the whole thing going like this. That doesn't bother us though, that is just part of the process. We stayed in a treehouse bed and breakfast one time actually. It was much higher up than our treehouse, and the whole thing was moving like this every time it would get windy, and they had to give the disclaimer that it's going to move because you're fastened to a giant, well, theirs was a pole, basically. Ours is a tree. Anyway, I think I've said enough. I should get going.
Cut.
These are our tempo run stairs, it feels like. You know, what's really funny is one time I had, well, I worked in a retirement home, so I had one of my residents come see the treehouse. For some reason, old people love the treehouse. They're all very excited about the treehouse. But I brought my dear resident and her bestie to come see the treehouse. Her bestie, who was like almost 90 years old, went all the way down the stairs and then all the way back up. And we're like winded every time we do it. She did it like such a pro. Here's another view of the yard. Obviously a lot of grass and green space. Our goal is to landscape this whole yard, have tons of gardens, and make it really beautiful and lush. We do plan to keep the middle section clear though, because Aspen is our little frisbee catcher, so she'll need her runway in order to catch her frisbee. But everything else we would love to add tons of color and foliage and make it really RBG worthy. Royal Botanical Gardens. As we move into the conclusion of this backyard tour, like I said, we're gonna skip the whole other side of the yard. We have our greenhouse over there, but something exciting is coming, so I don't want to show you it just yet. You guys are always asking what the next series is, and I can confirm that it is coming. We're gonna do a backyard tour, which you guys are watching right now. We'll do a home tour so you can see inside, and then we'll be starting our next series, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Welcome to our pool, everybody. This was the pool that we restored in 2021. Formerly, there was a wooden deck on top of it, and so it filled with rainwater, leaves, animals, like things would fall into the pool and get trapped and then they couldn't get out. It's really awful if you think about it. So in 2021, we took the deck off of it. We weren't really sure what we were going to find underneath. In the state of the pool, we wouldn't know if it was salvageable until we started cleaning it out and looking at the frame of it. And thankfully, the liner had decayed, but the pool itself was salvageable. So we fixed up the perimeter of it. Neither of us had a pool growing up or really knew anything about pools, but Andrew put hours of research into this project to figure out how to restore a swimming pool. My mom has a pool, so we asked her for advice. We asked other people who have pools for their advice. We contacted pool companies to try and get them to save the pool for us, and nobody responded to our emails. It was also during the height of COVID when people were really putting a lot of work into their backyards and making their home a vacation space. So it makes sense that we didn't hear back from anybody. And it worked out in our favor because this became our most popular project. It received, I think, over 100 million views on YouTube. It was really what kickstarted our YouTube channel, was this pool. And that didn't even happen until like a year or two after we restored the pool. Suddenly that video really took off of us documenting the whole process, and now here you are watching us on YouTube. So this was the project that started it all. We're definitely looking forward to using the pool more than we did last year with ditching the split. Andrew says that he used the pool 3 times. He only swam in it 3 times, and that's really not a lot for an entire summer when you have a swimming pool and you're paying to run a heater and the maintenance involved with keeping your pool open. So we are going to make time to swim this year. We've already swam twice, so we're doing well. We did a stamped concrete around our pool, which we have a love-hate relationship with. We were worried that we didn't order enough stamped concrete, which is why it's so short, and then we had to do lava rock to fill the space. It's just limiting where you can put patio furniture in that case, because you can't really fit any chairs along this side, and you're not gonna like sit in the gravel. And stamped concrete gets really hot. You have to seal it so it gets slippery. We actually just sealed it, and it looks a lot better than it did. But anyways, we just have a love-hate relationship with stamped concrete. This covered porch area is a work in progress. I didn't put too much effort into decorating. I just don't care that much. This used to be a mudroom. The last owner built it out of doors. Very big on using recycled materials, which is great. And it came apart very easily in that case. So we took down all the doors, turned it into an open covered porch area. And it's been great for entertaining to have this space. This leads into one of the garages. And yeah, we haven't even really done much over here because last summer we just didn't have the time to even really host anything. I think I hosted Father's Day, and that's like pretty much it. Just to finish off this video, we have our dining area underneath. This area is also going to be experiencing some changes because we're going to be moving our dining table up top and make the seating area down below, because our kitchen, like just having the kitchen right off of the patio door there, it kind of makes sense that if you're going to be cooking food and then eating outside, to eat up top and then lounging by the pool. This entire patio set is from Pioneer Pools. Andrew picked out these chairs because they do recline, and he is an old man. Yeah, they actually are really great chairs. We also needed something that would be heavy and not blow away because of the wind that we get through here. This was before we built this fence, but...
The old chairs ended up in the pool like 4 times.
Oh yeah, our old dining chairs ended up in the pool like 4 times, so we had to invest in some heavy-duty patio furniture. This table is also really amazing as well because we have it extended to its full size right now, but it collapses in and you can have it smaller. This is our hot tub. We love having a hot tub. I feel like if you're in Canada, a hot tub is better to have even than a pool. We use this all year long, and we bought it on clearance. Our pool store was having a hot tub clearance sale, and this was the floor model. So we were able to save quite a bit of money by buying the floor model. It definitely needs a clean and some water. However, we have got our money's worth out of this hot tub because we use it so often. We built the fence in 2023. It was formerly chain link, and we decided to close it in, make it a little private. Not that we have anything to hide, okay? We don't have anything to hide. It's just like our hot tub's right there, and we were gonna be in our bathing suit, so it's just kind of like less awkward for everybody. Andrew just built these planters. If you guys want to watch the video of how he built them, he filmed and edited a YouTube video all by himself. It's on his channel. Make sure you give it some love. He's very proud of it. And we painted it Swiss Coffee by Bear. The fence is stained cedar, also by Bear. And this video is going to be coming out because it was part of an ad we did with the brand. So when you guys see that video, comment, "Oh my God, I love your planters" on that video, and I'll know that you were from YouTube. I think this will probably be one of the last things I show you. We built an outdoor pool table a couple years ago as part of... I don't know why. We got it off Facebook Marketplace, and it was a good deal, and I wanted an outdoor pool table. I thought it would be cool. It was before we had a dining table, so I imagined that we could put a cover on it, make it a dining table, and then take the cover off, and it would be a pool table. So that's exactly what we did, and we used it like that for the first year, except we built the cover out of cedar, and it was very heavy to constantly take this cover off to use it, and then you have to like find somewhere to store it. We always do this where we like have a great idea and we start executing it, and then there's like always one little thing that's like, okay, we'll come back to it and do it later, and then we don't come back to it. So anyways, we were left with this giant cedar top that you might have seen it in the videos. Don't show them because it looks really bad. It's like floating around our backyard. That you always had to move if you wanted to play pool. So we've just kind of got it under our covered area right now. We love playing pool. I'm not very good at it, but I still do love it. And obviously this isn't a full-size pool table, but when people come over, they do enjoy playing it as well. Except last year we didn't even take the cover off it once because one, we were really busy with the renovation, but two, we were worried that squirrels had made a nest inside of it or mice hadn't made a nest inside of it because we thought we'd heard something, so we just didn't even open it. So last year we didn't even use it at all, and that seems to be a reoccurring trend throughout this whole video, is that like last year we were just so busy with the reno that I feel like we didn't even really use our backyard. And so that's not happening this year. We're going to make time to use our backyard. We're going to go swimming. We're going to use the amenities because we've paid for it. So we may as well use them. Oh yeah, we have an outdoor dartboard too. Outdoor dartboard. We also did this a couple years ago. This is just a bulletin board, like a cork bulletin board that we spray painted black, added a frame around it, added the dartboard, mounted it on a fence post, and then stuck it in some concrete in the planter with drainage holes. And this is also really fun when people come over. They love the outdoor dartboard. Again, we didn't even use that last year either, so this will be the year though.
It was falling over in the corner.
It actually was falling over all summer long. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys have enjoyed the backyard tour. It's really fun for us to get to show you where all of our hard work was going prior to ditching the split. So peaceful. I know you guys love seeing renovation stuff, and we love doing that as well, but gardening in the backyard projects is really what has our heart. So we're happy to show it off, and hopefully you can use this as some inspiration for your own home or your future home. If I missed where anything is from, or if you guys have any other questions, you can leave them in the comments. But I am happy to report that we are back to our Sunday videos. This was a nice one to kind of ease back into it, and we will be starting our next series in 2 weeks. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And anything else we need to tell the people? You want to say bye, honey? Okay. Thank you guys for watching it, and we're going to see you guys next Sunday for another new video. Bye. Do 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 do.